Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2025. Oh my gosh. So I didn't do a podcast over the weekend like I had posted. I just needed a little bit of rest, R&R, catch up. I'm having a lot to cover today because I missed out on doing pods for 3 days. If you're watching this on Rumble, we have all of our full pods and daily pods on our YouTube channel. So this podcast is the President Trump and Putin Summit, shockwaves. Shockwaves, Melania power move, and there's so much more to cover. President Trump and President Putin, they met in Alaska. Now, the meeting, it was held in Alaska. President Trump, he sent some comms while he was there, and it was pretty big. But this is really what I wanted to focus on. Many of you have already seen many of the comms about the emergency broadcast at the very tail end, and also the stealth bomb and the B-2 bombers that are flying over when President Putin gets out. And I'll share a little bit more in just a few minutes, but I wanted to cover this. President Trump, when he was walking off the Air Force One, he walked a little, he took his time walking to the midpoint where he was going to handshake President Putin. That handshake happened at exactly 11:11 a.m. 11:11. Okay, so he's sending big signs to us. And this post here from Il Donato says, now let's get it done. And this was such a power move here when President Trump and Putin, they're walking up to get on the stage. And the fighter, there are the B-2, the stealth bomber, guys. Okay, again, last time we saw this, there were stealth moves. Did you know at this summit, there were some very big names, and if you try to do a search on it, you have to actually ask specifically who was there at this meeting. But Scott Bessent was there. So you had Steve Witkoff. He was, of course, the gentleman that's been working on the special envoy, which is trying to get hostages relief, Marco Rubio. We have the Director of Energy, Chris Wright, Doug Burgum. He's the Director or the Secretary of Interior, Lee Zeldin, Dan Scavino, Scott Bessent, and John Ratcliffe, the CIA Director. Now, you have all these very big names. Did we see them on camera at all during this 3-hour summit? No, we didn't. We know that this was a very, very, this had to do with something, whether it's giving Putin something to install. I don't know. But President Trump is getting ready to roll out. And here he is having a talk or an interview with Sean Hannity, and he is addressing that Putin knows the 2020 election was stolen. Now, I think out of the entire speech, again, you can go ahead and listen to the speech. The link is below. But this was back in 2024, January 2024, when Vladimir Putin, he talked about the 2020 stolen election, and President Trump is confirming it here. Basically, what President Putin was saying is that the election was stolen in 2020 through mail-in ballots. He believes that's why President Trump had lost. And yes, we do know it was stolen. And many people ended up in jail because they were talking, and they were getting prosecuted because they were talking about the stolen election. There was even a J6 committee. What was that? It was a sham committee. Congress even identified it as a sham committee. And again, we're still seeing a lot of things play out, but they all have to, the timing is everything. But the pivotal remark was this: when President Putin, he was saying in 2022, Putin tried to convince Biden about the situation that was going on with Russia and Ukraine, and it should not have happened. Of course, Biden did nothing. Today, Putin, which was last Friday on August 15, 2025, Putin confirms if Trump were president in 2022, there wouldn't have been a war. So now let's take a little bit of a deeper dive, because what Putin did is he opened up a Pandora's box that you and I have already been talking about, but the mainstream media has not addressed. So Biden funded Zelensky in Ukraine with billions of our tax dollars. He started giving Zelensky money from February 2022 to January 8th of 2025. And the DC politicians, weren't they recipients of the money laundering? Did Biden fund this war? Interesting comments because of the stealth bomber flyover and the pile of dirt behind Trump and Putin when they landed. My point is there dirt that we have to dig on? And the stealth bomber, or there's going to be some very big stealth moves. But remember, Illuminati bot posted the time $5 million cash was discovered at the home of a Ukrainian politician. So the war in Ukraine was a massive money laundering scheme. The 1776 posted over $70 billion sent to Ukraine, and 75% is unaccounted for. This is the second biggest scam in history after COVID. Now, this is before Biden became the bumblehead resident houseplant, but this is when he was president. And in 2015, he was talking and touting how he was bribing the Ukrainian official. This is before Zelensky, Poroshenko, and he was bribing Poroshenko so that he doesn't get investigated by one of their Ukrainians investigators on the Biden money trip, Burmisa and Hunter and all their other crimes. Melissa M. Rogers posted huge embezzlement and money laundering scandal in Ukraine. Millions transferred from Ukrainian state-owned enterprises to foreign accounts. Again, there's much, much more. You can go ahead and do your own digging on this. But again, Ukraine was a big money laundering scandal. And did most of that money come back to the dirty U.S. politicians as quote unquote kickbacks? So President Trump, he posted this today, that he's going to end mail-in ballots and sign an executive order on such. And it's exactly what we needed, because this is the way that they were cheating and winning. Now that they don't have their illegals, we don't have dead people on the voter rolls. We don't have anybody that's 175 years old on the voter rolls, which is also dead people. Those people are all Democrat. They all vote Democrat. Okay, the dead people, the duplicates, the illegal aliens, they have lost their voter base. They know that. And they have duped a lot of Americans that say, the Democrats are doing good. No, they're not. They're really not that. They're not good at all. And I'll show it in just a moment. Vincent Kennedy, he said today's meeting with Trump and Putin, which was on Friday the 15th, had to do a lot with our new financial system. Symbolic day. He reposted a Gold Telegraph post 54 years ago. Today, Nixon ended the dollar's link to gold on August 15th. That was 54 years ago. Again, here we are, fast forward on the same day. The move that President Trump had and with Putin is all about the new financial system. Now, interesting enough, I love you Anons so much. Surfers, Anons, this is what you did. Y'all were looking over just Google Maps, Federal Reserve, just, I don't know, randomly doing searches like you normally do, because we're so used to digging, right? Trump posts something, we dig. Sometimes we don't have to dig, but this time we did. You all did. It says it is permanently closed. Now, so I went ahead and posted that over the weekend, and then I went ahead and looked today because I wanted to make sure it stuck. Check out this little puppy. And I went ahead and did it in a video format so you could see that there's no, it's what is called a still shot, or it's just called one, like, I don't know what it's called in the production world, but it's just one shot. All right. So check this out. So I'm on Google Maps, and I just got the White House up there. And then I want to go ahead and do a search. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Federal Reserve, DC. Normally it auto-populates, but it didn't this time. Okay, and then look at this. It says it's permanently closed, guys. Let me go ahead and just kind of go back a little bit. It says it's permanently closed. So that way you could see in a video format that it is, hang on, let me just shut that. It says permanently closed. Now, you can call the phone number, and it has that one of those we're out of the office right now messages. But don't think for one moment President Trump doesn't know how smart you guys are. Okay, he knows you dig. He knows that Putin do this, Putin do that, or, you know, the movie script or whatever it is, because he knows you're going to figure it all out. That's how you work. Nick Sorto reported about Secret Service and the D.C. Metro Transit officers have been deputized by Pam Bondi, meaning this gives them power to make warrantless arrests. They can go ahead and arrest and make those arrests without a warrant, and it's going to be just glorious. So there's a photo of them getting sworn in. And he also reported about the Democrat mayor of New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell. She's been indicted. It, whatever, has been indicted by a federal grand jury after an FBI investigation for corruption. Finally, so we're going with the smaller tier, but that's a mayor of a big city, has been indicted. Now, Pam Bondi already referred Obama-era people. I don't know if you guys remember this, but just recently, Pam Bondi, she already referred Obama-era, including Obama, for grand jury investigations. So it goes through, yes, we released the information from Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi had to do something. She's referring it to the grand jury for investigations. And then, excuse me, I'm toggling up. And then stuff like this begins to happen when the grand jury. Now, I've read online that grand jury is going through deliberations on the Obama and era investigation. They're going through deliberations. But again, once the grand jury makes their announcement, everybody is going to go absolutely just crazy. Stephen Miller, he talks about crimes against humanity. He is very bold and blunt about this. Guys, I'm not recording the videos because I got a lot to cover today, but you can go ahead and click on the links if you like. But Stephen Miller, he absolutely you can come to the article's link, and then all of these things are here. And when you click on the image or or the video, it'll take you to that post. But Stephen Miller, he absolutely goes nuclear. He even calls Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, what they were doing by facilitating the child trafficking, the sex trafficking, and all of that. He had said that they are guilty of crimes against humanity. Stephen Miller, a respected attorney working on the Trump administration, he would never go ahead and just say that willy-nilly, loosely. He has a strong point in making that statement, right? And that's a big statement, right? So the left, they are losing it. They are losing their minds. They're losing their TikTok accounts. They're losing even their Subway sandwiches. They're losing their freedom, period. This was a TikToker. She's from Colombia. I thought she was from Mexico, but she's from Colombia. And she was touting how she is an undocumented. What she did is she had a massive following. And guess what the followers were doing? She was doxing ICE agents, and she was telling them to harass those ICE agents. So some of you had reported her, which I really want to thank you very much. And she got arrested. So she got thrown out of her vehicle, and she got arrested. But my point is that, and she was touting on her TikTok, I have fake documents. And she was dancing while she was saying that. It's like, you're going to get caught one day. And she sure did. Boy, I'll tell you, she's going to, little alligators are going to enjoy her, right? They're going to be like, ooh, we're going to have another crazy here. Then remember so this is the guy, this dude right here. He lost a lot of things. He lost his job, he lost his freedom, and he lost his Subway sandwich. This is a dude that went ahead and he got really angry with the enforcement going on in DC. So he throws his Subway sandwich at an FBI agent, and then they just went ahead, they caught him. He lost his job the very next day, and he got arrested. So these people are not getting away with much anymore at all. President Trump, he posted this very bold message, and the party of hate, evil, Satan, I mean, he's literally going there. The Democrat Party is dead. They have no leadership, no message, no hope. There's the only message for America is to hate Trump, which we know when they do that, that means Trump is doing some very remarkable things. Awaken Outlaw posted, it's obvious the National Guard aren't needed to clear DC of crime, but they're coming in waves anyway, and they're being sworn in and deputized by U.S. Marshals. So what is that? Check this out. Military tankers, those look like paddy wagons. They're just going to toss people in there. Those are probably other paddy wagons or paddy, I don't know what they are, but look at this. Maybe they're going to parade some of them around, I don't know. But they are getting ready for something very big, ginormous. The military, these are military tanks and vehicles out there on the streets in D.C. Somebody had reported and showed a video of it being in Houston as well, on their way to Houston. And I'm saying there's like 4 to 6 vehicles. There's 4 to 6 members of the military inside of each of these vehicles, the military vehicles that are on their way over to Houston, Texas. Oh my gosh. So now let's kind of wrap things up, because there was a lot of rumor, and I thought it was actually that was an event that was actually going to happen. But there was a lot of rumor that Putin was going to give Melania an emerald ring. It was not ever announced, nor did it happen. Or did it happen and it was kept very quiet and private and through President Trump or through his administration? So I did a little dig on the emerald jewelry, and this is pre-AI, a little bit of these digs. I was talking to a dear friend who's an anon surfer as well, and I was just saying, gosh, I can't wait until this is all done, because that way we're just in one timeline and we could think like normal. We don't have to talk in 2 different timelines, to help people understand that, the big bad people have already been dealt with. They're already under dirt or became shark food or whatever. But this is a dig I really feel it's important for us to understand, because how that meeting with President Putin and President Trump and President Putin on Friday was very significant in many ways. So I went ahead, this is a thread, but let me just start from the beginning. I'm going to just go ahead, and many of you have watched my show for a long time, so you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Emerald City. So my thread again, and I put up a correction on X saying that the gift wasn't given, or was it? I don't know, because there's something else that happened. But apparently President Putin was supposed to gift, there was rumor that he was going to gift the royal first lady, Melania, the emerald ring. Now, this is the significance behind this, okay? So let's start with number 2. The history on the emerald: the Romanov family refused the Rothschilds' plan to control the world. The royal Romanov family was savagely killed. Melania, and I'll get to that in a moment, but she was a descendant. She is part of the Romanov family. Queen, again, you decide. These are my digs that I've been just kind of sitting on and shelving. I have a lot of things on my shelf, but I just thought I'd share this with you. Queen Mary, she bought the tiara known as the Vladimir tiara, a piece from the estate of the Grand Duchess Vladimir, a member of the Romanov dynasty who managed to smuggle her jewels out of Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution. Rather than the Queen Mary of the UK returning this priceless jewel back to the Romanov family or their descendants, no. They bought it, kept it, and flaunted it. Now, why is it that the Romanov family was savagely dealt with? Is because they were rejecting the Rothschilds' plan to turn everything into their system. And so when the Queen Elizabeth and her mom and Queen Mary and all just that royal smug ugly family, they're just ugly in many ways. They were touting it, meaning that we won, the Rothschilds did take over, we're in control of the financial everything, right? Now, and this was Queen Elizabeth's favorite tiara. She can interchange the emeralds to pearls if she wanted to, but they were flaunting this. Can you imagine Melania during our first lady during this entire time? However, remember, years later, President and Melania Trump, they got their sweet revenge. On July 13th of 2018, the day that Lizzie, I don't even call her Queen, Lizzie had to walk behind President Trump and practically carry his golf bag if necessary while President Trump inspected the royal guards. This is July of 2018. This was the moment Lizzie lost her crown. She also lost her power and those beautiful precious jewels. This is a short video on paintings at the UK Buckingham Palace that got removed. It's under a quote-unquote 10-year renovation. But this meeting happens on July 13th. President Trump then, 3 days later, he goes to Russia, right? And he has his presidential tour with President Putin, and there are a lot of videos and clips of how President Putin was so gracious and kind and just hospitable to the Trump family. Was this a coronation event that had to stay silent? Did Melania receive her crown back? Was the ring given to her back then? When all these assets got seized, did Trump collect the jewels and say, okay, and then was it given? Again, we don't know the logistics of it all and how it works, but how all of this is playing out. Again, you and me, and we've all been surfing on waves, and we've been writing them, and we've been saying, oh my gosh, this might happen, this will happen, it looks like it did happen. And guess what? It seems to be that God is so good to us that the vindication keeps happening over and over and over and over again, okay? So President Putin gave President Trump the soccer ball, and then it was immediately given to Melania. What was in that soccer ball, right? Well, coronation papers? I don't know, a flash drive? Things like that. That's where my head is at. And again, it wasn't publicly announced. So therefore the ring did not get exchanged, but maybe it did quietly. But my point is that if this is a way for us to go do some digging on this, did Melania Trump finally get her her jewels back from her family that were seized, right? And is it symbolic of what is to come? Is this the emerald? Okay, an emerald ring. President Trump, what did he get? Did he get any papers on, this is a Q post on for April 8th, but as Putin is Russia's president, and then it has his job is to look after the Russian people. Put yourself in his shoes. He wants to win. Why not take advantage of his enemies? Trump comes along. Russia, Putin becomes our ally. Xi becomes our ally. Xi and Putin are also under attack by the deep state, which is rooted globally. And this is what Q posted. POTUS never telegraphs his moves. Think logically. Why did POTUS announce his intention to pull out of Syria? Again, this is back in 2018. But this is the relationship. Q would have said, you're absolutely wrong, Anon. No. So again, he never telegraphs his moves. He does in other ways, though, and I've showed this video many, many times. I mean, come on, President Trump and Melania Trump, they're like parents for giving Christmas gifts on Christmas morning, and we're the kids sitting there going, okay, what's the gift now? Many of us want our freedom. Many of us want to be broken from the financial tyranny in general, right? And so President Trump, he never telegraphs his moves, but they do send a lot of comms, right? They do send a lot of messages, and this was that ultimate chess move. 1, 2, 3, move, checkmate. Where in chess, the queen, and this was the white queen, protects the king. And then this is how the Golden Knight handed over the flag. Okay, get this. The flag that's already wrapped. It was standing over the Capitol in free fall. And then he hands over this flag. Oh, let me just go ahead and play the whole thing here. Hold on.
Mr. President, on behalf of the United States Army, the Army Golden Knights, I would like to present to you this flag, which was flown over our nation's capital in free fall during the Army's 250th birthday celebration.
Look at their radiant smiles. They were giving, that's the death of the old DC. All right. I don't care how anybody looks at it. That's how I see it. You got a folded flag given to you. It was a capital in free fall. He's given that flag. President Trump says, game on. And ever since that, think about this. Ever since that military parade, there has been just bombs after bombs, literally and figuratively, bombs after bombs after bombs dropped, right? And then the emerald ring. Okay, it's symbolic or revealing the hologram behind the curtain at Emerald City in the movie The Wizard of Oz, the parallels of the Wizard of Oz in today's world, and how they were really mocking us. They were mocking the people in this cartoon or movie clip, excuse me, not cartoon, but movie clip. And we're nearing the end of the cabal's tyranny on this world. And this article with the video in it was symbolic of what they were doing to us to keep us in slavery. So here you have the Federal Reserve shows that it's closed, and now you have this right here, that the emerald ring, and tying it all together about what is really going on, right? How big is this move? Did you know Paul Atkins, the pro-crypto person, Paul Atkins gave a briefing on Friday the same day, and it was very big, and he was making it very, very a clear, strong message that crypto is going to dominate. Crypto is the currency. Crypto, right? So there's not going to be a lot of choices, and there's no more printing of the fiat dollar. And then you have Melania and President Melania Trump at the inaugural ball sending comms after comms after comms. A President and Melania's inaugural ball, and in Melania's gown. And then remember earlier she wore that dark blue suit. with the black stripe over the rim of her hat. And then he did the sword dancing, right, which is it's celebration in the Middle East. It's a celebration dance. They both are revealing their acts that they reign over DC and the world for the good of the people. Her absolute stunning white dress with a black strap, and is that strap shaped as an R from, again, Romanov? A new royal leadership, will it soon be revealed? The Trumps are not your typical royal leaders. They are incredibly powerful in their own way, working hard to give you and me, the children, the people, the greatness. And it's absolutely phenomenal what they're doing. So there was no announcement of a emerald ring passed along. Neither was there an announcement of this absolutely powerful letter, Melania Trump. This is the power of Melania Trump. The Melania Trump letter to Putin. And another thing, it was not announced. It was until after President Trump and Putin's meeting was over. And this was hand-delivered to Putin by President Trump himself. Dear President Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it is our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all so that every soul may wake to peace, so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. Yet in today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can possibly claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of these children, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all humans' division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement this vision with a stroke of a pen today. It is time. Melania Trump. How beautiful is this, right? She addresses him as Mr. Putin, not Mr. President, not President Putin. In our lifetime, never has there been a first lady that has sent a leader of another nation a powerful letter about restoring the happiness and laughter of a child. It goes beyond the peace part. It addresses the horrors that many children faced and had faced. She is addressing the crimes against humanity with the stroke of a pen that Putin would sign. Would other world leaders and nations do the same thing, or have they done the same thing? When President Trump has made his rounds and worked out all of these trade and tariff deals, did they sign an agreement to say we will not allow crimes against humanity, crimes against children? This is where it truly is, just where we're headed is so worth the fight that we've had and the fight that they've had. Melania Trump has done more than any other first lady in my lifetime. And in terms of fighting against human and child abuse, she has done a lot more than any other first lady. If the world knew of her main objective was to help free the children from slavery in every imaginable way, and maybe the liberal world will look at Melania differently, yeah? We are really witnessing incredible greatness and difference in our world, and even the Cambodian monks say thank you to President Trump. There's a beautiful speech that he says, and it just makes you just cry. Now, today, President Trump is meeting with Zelensky and other European nations. Listen to what this report is from Fox News about Trump invited everybody. Is he getting everybody to sign on Jasara? Is he getting everybody to sign in on the peace around the world and not just talking about war, talking about the horrors of the crimes against humanity? It is truly, in my humble opinion, today is a symbolic day of peace around the world in the terms of having Jasara roll out, because one of the biggest elements of Nasara and Jasara is the peace. And with that would be no more big crimes and no more crimes against humanity. Listen to what this reporter says.
In just a few hours, President Trump will welcome Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and other European leaders just days after his summit with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Alaska.
Jackie Heinrich joins us from the White House with the latest. Hey, Jackie.
Good morning to you guys. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tells me this morning that the president invited everybody here because he remains more determined than ever to end this war.
In just a few hours.
Isn't that amazing? President Trump, he's achieved so much. And the peace that he's created and changed and ended was between India and Pakistan, Israel and Iran, the ceasefire, Serbia and Congo and Rwanda, Thailand and Cambodia. Also, China claims that they will not attack Taiwan during this President Trump's term. Armenia, and again, President Trump could be the president forever, right? Armenia and Azerbaijan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Lebanon, Abraham Accord. Think about all of those nations that he has negotiated peace, and he is doing that right now between Russia and Ukraine, and now the European nations are getting on board as well. How big is today? So this is President Trump's schedule for today, East Coast time, and from 12 noon till 2:30 he participates family photo with the European leaders. The European leaders are expected to arrive at about 1:15, and actually between 1 is Zelensky arrives, and then 2:15 is when the European leaders arrive, and then he's going to have their meeting at 3 o'clock today, East Coast time. I'll tell you, surfers, Anons, thank you. We would have never have been here, ever, had it not been for you fighting, not knowing exactly when you're waking up in the morning why you're doing it, other than fighting for the children. But now the phase of where we're going into greatness, just the beauty of it all. I want to thank the very beautiful messages I get, and sometimes I just cry. I just get so touched, teary-eyed, because it just touches my heart. And sometimes I go through my own personal life stuff, and then I read a message like this coming from Charlie. It's Charlie Papa Bean. Just going to put this here. Santa, thank you for for all you put out there for us every day. I enjoy the broadcast, and I really appreciate the vibe you bring to us. You're relentless in giving us hope, and I can't tell you how much how much appreciation I have. Lots of love to you. I'm going to say this. We wouldn't have been able to do it without each other. We have been fighting this together. All of you, even those that don't have a social media account but listen to my podcasts, all of you we've been fighting together, and it's because of your fight. It's because of your belief. You may not have a social media, but you may be in a profession where you own a business and you're running to customers all day long, right? You have an opportunity to talk to somebody, touch a person's life. You may be a hairstylist and have people sitting in your chair, about 200 different faces every month, right? And you have an opportunity to talk. You change one person's life, the domino effect starts to happen. That's why I always say we do this together. We all do this together. We do it as a big surfer community. And why we call each other surfers is because we all were surfing online, looking for the truth, trying to put some stuff out there. And thank you so much. And also, I believe it's because of our faith in God. They had to build that. And then now is God saying, okay, I'm ready to open up the floodgates and give you so much happiness. It's just absolutely overwhelming that you just sit there and go, I am absolutely in awe from all the beauty and just the rewards from within. I'll tell you, that's what really matters, is who you became from all of this, what you became from all of this, right? A stronger warrior, and your faith in God has gotten stronger. Don't you think God is smiling and he can't wait so he can start taking selfies with you and saying, okay, come on, say hello, right? This is what I look forward to the most. And this is what we can all look forward to, is that we've come this far. We survived a Biden era, the COVID era, right? We survived many things together. Now we're on Oh man, we're steamrolling right into the beautiful part. But with that comes a little bit of hiccups and bumpy roads, but it's not anything we haven't dealt with already. And together, we're going to get through this. God bless you abundantly. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Please share it with your friends. If you are new to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to it so you can get notifications for it. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, and I will have a show tomorrow. Aloha.